Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today, I've got a very, very special, beautiful, wonderful guest on the bus. Are you ready for this? I've only gone and got Chrissie.
Woo! Hello.
Morning, Chrissie.
Morning.
Isn't today just lovely?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is one of them days, genuinely, where you just think, we're pretty lucky. We're pretty good. You know, it's very sunny outside. There's a load of cows in this field over here that were staring at us a minute ago. All the animals on the farm were coming and checking us out. We thought, what a beautiful, beautiful day. And then the cat just decided to come in, do his business in the bus and go. So, you know, life is just a constant, mixture of emotions and feelings.
Yeah, definitely.
Chrissie, you are an amazing woman.
Thank you.
You do lots of things that I can't actually comprehend how you maneuver with so many things and fit it all in. You've had a pretty wild life, which I know about, and I'm going to try and really get into today.
Oh dear.
But you've got Handmade Revolution. That's a business of yours. You do workshops on this Old Farm Bus. You're a joint director with me on the Old Farm Bus, and we do a very 50% job on it. Sometimes I get people like, you've done such a great job on that. Wow, well done. This is great. And I'm like, no. Like, none of this is possible without, especially family support as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And complete support with you. Such a joint effort. So it's really important for me to say that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're a teacher. You have worked in retail. You do arts and crafts, and you're just constantly somebody that always wants to learn and always wants to better yourself. What do you want me to throw at you first?
Oh, so many to choose
shoe?
from. No shoes. I'm surprised you got them on. To be fair.
Yeah, barely. I only ever wear flip flops. You're also going to be a parent.
I am, and so are you.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this will come into conversation, but I won't throw us in at the deep end yet. But yeah, let's go back to the beginning. Your thirst and love and enjoyment in crafts, like, where did that all come from?
Just from growing up, really. My mum's majorly into crafts, and I grew up in a single parent household, so it was just me, my sister, who's 3 years younger, and my mum. I guess not having like loads of kind of income, we just kind of make do with what we had. So we kind of making things. My mum would have projects on the go. Would be curious, and she would teach us how to do all these crafts. Essentially, was what was happening.
Did you enjoy the process straight away, or did you get pushed into it?
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. There was times where I'm like, yeah, you might want me to have a go, but I'm really not interested. I want to play with Barbies or whatever. I don't know, but no. But the most of the time, definitely. And I learnt so many different things. My mum was always searching for the new craft to learn.
Wicked. She's a really cool person. I love it when we go round for your birthday or whenever we go round. It's never just a coffee and a cake and a little chat. It's, right, we're on a new project today. We're doing this, we're doing that. My favourite of all time for me was the felting. 100% the felting. We all got together. Your sister was there, her partner, me, you, your mum, and we sat down. Was it your birthday?
Probably. There's always an agenda whenever we go round.
Yeah. But that particular time, I think we started at about 1 o'clock. We'd had the cake, we'd had the coffee, we'd had the chats. And then we all sat down, got the felting out. I'd never done it before. And then your mum was explaining it, and she's like, yeah, you just jab this. I'm like, what's fun about that? And then, honestly, like, half an hour in, I'm like, this is bloody brilliant. This is really good. It's just, you totally get lost in it, completely. I don't know what the word is, but it's like meditation.
Yeah, it's
like
meditative. Therapeutic.
Yeah, therapeutic. And we had this competition. I always love things to be competitive. I've got that side to me, so I'm going to make them. And our competition was like, make the best animal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And I decided to go with an elephant. So we started at 1, and then it must have got to some silly time, like 10 o'clock. Easy. And I remember your mum just saying, right, you probably need to get back now or something. I'm like, what's the time? Like, 10 o'clock. okay, really? I mean, because we're party animals.
yeah. Felt in the night away.
Yeah, shouldn't you be in bed? Then, yeah, I was so proud of this, like, elephant that I'd done. Such a really, like, good feeling that I got from it. And then we got home, all happy, put it on our little mantel place. So what did you make? Can you remember?
Was it a little bit? No, I did a lizard.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lizard,
Oh,
yeah.
that was actually probably the best of the night, to be totally honest.
Wow.
But we put the lizard and the elephant down together, like, on a little mantelpiece, like.
Pride place.
And then went to bed. Got down in the morning. I come downstairs and it's just a horror show, isn't it?
Yeah, it was gory.
I see a little bit of grey material on the floor, and I'm like, this isn't cool. I went in the living room and I just see Tommy lobbing my elephant, Tommy our cat, lobbing my elephant in his mouth, throwing him around, ear there, trunk there, and your lizard's fine intact.
Oh yeah, totally.
No, yeah,
It wasn't as interesting.
Maybe
as the
Mum was
elephant.
the best animal for a cat play toy.
Yeah, teasing all the bits apart.
Do you have a favourite craft that you go towards most of the time? And do you have any crafts that you really don't know but you'd like to get into?
Yeah, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't know if I've got a favourite one. Growing up, I did a lot of crochet, which is a bit like knitting, but with one hook. I think mostly because I couldn't really get to grips with knitting, so I was like, "Oh, I'll just take away one needle. Surely it's easier, half the hassle." So I did loads of that. I did something called freeform crochet, which is basically where you just make it up as you go along. And I did that at college quite a bit. But I think since then, I've kind of taken it upon myself to like learn new crafts. So I think my thirst isn't for one, but for learning more. And then once I get to grips with the craft, I like to just explore how I can integrate them. So I'm like experimenting.
I love the new one you've just got into, and you've done that bear. It's like a bathroom mat. What's that one?
It's called needle punching, but it's essentially tufting.
It's got a lovely name to
Yeah,
it.
needle
Punching.
It is proper punching as well, because you've got to really like stab the fabric.
I've had a little go at it.
Yeah, you have. I think that's the thing, like you said earlier, about it being quite sort of therapeutic. A lot of crafts, it's just one simple repetitive motion. So sometimes you don't even have to really think what you're doing. You can look at the aesthetics of it. So it is really good just for repetitively doing something. And that definitely happens with the needle punching. So I'm making this bear that's basically little loops of fabric, like a
That's
mat.
the thing with crafts a lot of the time. Like with my filmmaking that I'm really passionate about now, or these podcasts and things like that, there is repetition in it, but it's also joined with a lot of like hardship and failures and things like that. Where you're like, yeah, maybe not to most people, but to me. And you've got to really be switched on, I feel, when I'm doing it. So I do lose myself in it, but it's a different type of lose myself. The thing with crafts, I lose myself in it, and I'm not saying it's easy by any regard, because I know there's a lot of techniques that you have to really be switched on for.
Yeah.
But some of them, they are really repetitive and just really enjoyable, like the needle
felting.
punching.
Oh,
and
needle punch, yeah.
And yeah, all them sort of things with the repetition in it. I particularly enjoy that, just for the fact that it is so like meditative, and it is so like just get lost in it. Did you find that when you got into it as well, or
in crafts in general?
yeah? Do you feel that? Because I know you're somebody as well that's had suffers with your mental health at times, and you've been through that. Was it something you fell to when you were in them days, and you found a way of sort of escapism, or?
Yeah, I mean, that leads to so many really good conversations, really. No, not always, because sometimes I couldn't get to grasp with certain crafts, and that would really, like, grind my gears. I'd be like, why can't I do it? And, like, literally chuck it in the corner, like, kid with toys. And that would happen, and it would really frustrate me. And like you said, with mental health as well, I had a real long period, like, where I tried to do independent, sort of, do my own artwork. It was after uni. But then I had this real crisis of, like, what is the point? So, like, I think I was asked at the time, like, why do you make it? They just lie around afterwards anyway. And I was just like, well, why am I making them? And I kind of found that disconnect between the enjoyment of making and the purpose, like, but did it need a purpose?
So that was say, like, what a knobhead. Who ever said that?
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, oh no, what am I doing? I've got all these boxes of stuff, and like, what for? And I really had a disconnect. And it was really interesting. Again, like, fast forward about 3 years, my mum said, right, I'm gonna sign us up for this course with Nottingham Trent Uni. They do summer courses, and we did a week-long watercolour course. I didn't know that apparently just like older people do these courses. I was like the youngest person. There was like a really awesome guy who owns a Nottingham, like a big Nottingham curry house there. I've made friends with him, and literally I was not in a bad place, but I'd had a bad week the week before.
Yeah.
Went on this course, and literally it was all gone. I was so concentrating on my task and trying to figure out these techniques. Like, I literally wouldn't go for lunch or anything. And it came back. It was just like, right, I understand. I haven't made a masterpiece. I haven't even finished those paintings to this day. But the process was healing. Or, yeah, I would say healing.
I've had that conversation a few times now, and it is really one to stress and to put forward. But a lot of depressed people, a lot of people feeling low, always seem to get to the same point of what's the point?
Yeah.
And I suppose, for me, I've been there where I've worked with music, with poetry, with any passion that I've got to. It was always the end point was the point for me at the time. Like, I'd come to the conclusion, like, you know, when I've made the track, I'll be feeling good because it'll be out and I'll get recognition, I'll get response, or things like that. Or even with when I was playing rugby, like, it'd be the game, and if we'd lose the game, that was it. That was like, I was just depressed, or I was down, or I was like, what's the point? We didn't lose much that Yeah, I came to the conclusion not that long ago, to be honest, like a few years maybe, but it was always the process. It was always the before bit, the hard bit, the in the midst of creating, where you were really happy because you were in it, and then you finished it and you put it out, or you do whatever, and then you feel like you're on this cycle of, you're like, I just do it, it's gone, and you forget all the process and the proudness behind it. So I think that's really important to stress, that if you've got a passion, if you've got something, that's the purpose, that's the reason.
Definitely. Yeah, it's that, kind of that connection with the task or with a process.
So then, when you got into this crafts, I know you've always wanted to make it your business as well. You wanted to turn it into that. So when did Handmade Revolution come about?
Handmade Revolution actually started in 2009, which actually feels like ages ago now. And I just started it off, it was kind of me rekindling making. But at the time I was making fascinators and hats, sort of wedding gear, because I quite liked 3D construction of fabrics. So rather than just crafts, like manipulating something into a structure, essentially. So I did that, but then I just realised I'm making these hats, and that's all great. But actually, why am I making hats? I think I just made it because I thought I could sell them, because I still had that stigma of, why am I making these things that are just lying about? So I thought, well, I'll just make something to sell. But it wasn't for the right reasons, so it kind of went stagnant for quite a few years, until 2 years ago that I rekindled it here. And through talking to you, you said, why don't you do workshops? And all my ideas were to kind of learn, share and create. So I wanted to start creating again, learn new tasks and new skills, and then share what I find out with other people, so to spread the word. Not like in a cult way, but
I again a chat yesterday with Zach Purdy, who's Zap Coaching, and we were just saying, like, a lot of the time you need to get into it yourself, feel that purpose, start creating, start making, start doing whatever it is. But then when it gets to that other side of, like, teaching others and sharing that thing with other people, and them getting that feeling that you got, that's the most rewarding part, isn't it? A lot of the time,
100%.
There's no greater feeling than teaching somebody a new skill and getting that buzz. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Knowing, like, there's like another 5 people now that really felt that too. It's not just me. This is great.
I've never felt that before. They just first stumbled onto it. So you wanted it to become your job, and that didn't happen for a little bit. You went into retail. were you doing it during retail, or did you stop for a bit again? And what was retail like?
Yeah, to be fair, I actually was making the hats still in retail.
Yeah.
My boss, in my managerial role, used to be one of my main customers for wedding hats. But I used to just pull up
I
like.
made some amazing wedding hats. I've seen them. They're really cool.
They are pretty good. I did
How
enjoy
long would
it.
one take to make?
Oh, it depends. Like literally, sometimes I'd pull all-nighters, so
Really?
probably about 7 hours to make one. Depends how intricate you do it, but
That'd be
yeah.
so fun. Like, you're like, why you look so tired? To all your mates, and they're like, oh, I've been doing an all-nighter. Oh, yeah, Chrissie. It's like, yeah, I've been doing wedding hats.
Yeah, I've been making
Oh.
hats for races. Yeah, like way. But yeah, so I did do a little bit, but again, it wasn't satisfying because I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. Probably still, it was good for making commissions, but yeah, retail. Whew.
And I know you're in retail for 11 years.
Yeah, in one job I was 10 years, but then I'd always had a job anyway. So at one point I think I had 3 jobs. Worked in a lot of pubs and a lot of retail. So I've messed up uni a few times from being silly. And that's when I got my first manager's job, and I worked in a shoe shop down Sadlergate. But went back to uni, and it was then that I actually got the 10-year job. So I started working in a jewellery shop.
Is that Argento?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like no other retail job that I had, because before I was so used to, you get the shoes, check the size, put it through the counter. Really, that was it. And I had to sell
You've
for
not
the
got much of a passion in shoes, have you?
Well, I quite like shoes, but like it wasn't as involved as like what it was in jewellery. I had to actually learn to sell, and I'd never done that, and not really interested in hard sales. I just thought that was phone in, like telesales. That's what I would assume it would be.
You are
like.
a very creative person. No matter what you go into, you inject all this creativity into it. So you'll sometimes hear a cockle just go off whenever the cats come in now. It's proper farm, innit?
Yeah, proper.
But when you go into it, so even selling, I'm sure that you introduce lots of creativity into that. Was that something they taught you, or was that your own little injection?
Yeah, kind of. So in the jewellery shop, we'd have to merchandise all the shells ourselves. So there's quite a lot of psychology sort of behind how you display things. So how the eye views, which is really interesting. I guess it's how you kind of see information that you take in. You can either think it's boring, or you can find something interesting from it. So yeah, I think the creativity for me was like, I like the colours, I like the stones. I had to learn a lot. So the creativity was just trying to show people how you can, sort of display, how you can be with your wording, how you can explain the product, really.
I know in our living room you've got a big certificate to tell you that. What did you win in retail?
I think I got a manager's award one year. Oh, that was well weird. Oh, hello. Yeah, basically, it was actually legit as well. It wasn't rigged. So I think it was to do with Derby Telegraph, and it was all local businesses, but you actually got mystery shopped. So like somebody came in the shop and I didn't know, and they rated me on my customer service. So
amazing.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
And what was the moment that made you need to get out of retail then after that stint in doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there for 10 years. There was no room for progression. But I don't know if I wanted that anyway. I think I was like, well, my options are you progress to a higher level, like area manager, but that is really involved. Do I really want to do that? I didn't really see the jewellery as kind of essential. There was times where I kind of fell out with the idea of selling jewellery to people. There'd be quite interesting situations, really, just hearing from people. We think, you haven't got the money for that, Mrs. Brown. Like, why are you buying another charm for your nomination bracelet? And then, like, I just thought, I need to do something for me. It was more about soul searching. It got quite quiet in the shop, to be honest. We, like, relocated. Derby got a little bit crazy with the old zombies. If you know, you know. But it gave me a lot of thinking time. It was quite hard, and then I just thought, this isn't for me. I need to do something that's for me. I need to not be complacent. I need to be challenged. I need something different every day, and I want to be learning. I need to be gaining stuff. I've stopped taking information in, and that was probably the thing. And I was like, right, I've just got to do it.
And then you hop, skipped and jumped straight into teaching?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, literally traded in my regular wage to be a student again.
Nice.
With
You love
no,
that.
yeah, I
Journey.
love that. Well, it was tricky. Back on the beans. To be fair, it weren't as easy as I thought anyway, because I wasn't amazing at school. I had to retake some GCSEs whilst doing my full-time job. I had to do 2 entry qualifications to get into teaching. So I'm really, really bad at maths. Well, I say really, really, but I'd work all day. I'd get home and obsessively learn maths because I was like, I want to do this. If I don't do it, I'm not going to get in. And it was like the X Factor when I went to Nottingham to somewhere that looked a bit like the driving theory test place, did my maths test, and there was literally sort of a mental arithmetic that you had to do in like a certain amount of seconds. I'm like, there's no way, it's just not happening. And I passed the test first time. I remember calling my mom like half in tears. I'm like, I've done it, I'm in. Like, I just thought it was not possible.
And you started, which was the first school you started at?
Well, I was a student teacher, so it was the school that I'm actually working at now was my first placement school, which is a Catholic school in Ilkeston, which I instantly fell in love with. It was just so homely and really nice ethics, and it was just like the dream school.
You do, like, when you come home and, I've been at home in my little man cave for a bit doing some film. I'll start at like 9 o'clock and get lost in it, and you come back and I'm like, oh, you're back already? But you come back with this buzz like a lot of the time anyway, and you've got some really fun anecdote or funny story to tell me. Like, you do seem like you're really passionate about teaching as well, and you've got this underlying you should have been in that profession. Like, it seems like it's really fitting for you. You've got a lot of charisma when you talk about it. Is it something you really enjoy? Is it something you're happy with?
Yeah, I do. It's something that I find really hard at times, but it's definitely something I enjoy. Like, I do really enjoy seeing all the students. I don't know if it's because I'm a bit silly, but and I connect on that level, but I don't know, it's interesting to see what they understand and kind of little things that you say to them, that kind of reassure them. I don't know, you just feel like you're passing something on, which is a bit cliche, I guess, but it is what it is. It's true. So,
with teaching, do you think that's going to be again a long-term thing, or?
Yeah, in a certain way.
What you say, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not mad, eh?
No, like I'm really happy with where I'm at, but I do really want to target my teaching and in a way that I want to. I feel, well, obviously textiles. So my workshops are the way I feel most fulfilled in teaching.
Do you really, really enjoy that? Like, because it is interesting, because I come and film them, and I come in, I've been to 3 now, I think, 4, but there is just such a nice community feeling in there. Like, it's quiet, there's a bit of music on, they have a bit of a chat, then you introduce a new little bit of the skill, and it just really smooth, it just intertwines really well. I like how you put it out there. Is that something you are most into? Yeah,
I think so. It is really chill, to be honest, when everyone comes, and I just think it's just so important to kind of take that time, and I do really enjoy just passing on the skills that I think are so valuable. I'm not saying maths isn't valuable and you should be like crocheting a brooch, but I don't know, they're just valuable to me. So I think as well that's my expertise. A lot in teaching, there's this massive slogan of you're the expert in the room, and I want to be the expert in the room, and I don't always feel that I am in the position that I am at the moment. I can learn to be the sort of expert of that project, essentially, but if we're going to be honestly true, that is what I'm the expert in.
I'm glad that you've picked up the courage, picked up your cojones and just gone straight into it. It's great, it really is.
Yeah.
And with the Old Farm Bus, like, I'm so ready for it to just get back into to business and having busking sessions again, workshops again, everything again. I see a real promise in it. I remember the first night we had lots of people here, and again, it was something at the start where got into it. It may be a vanity purpose, get some buses, look cool, do this, but it always turns back round to like this really genuine feeling of like, look at the happiness being created, look at this real community feeling. It's just such a rewarding place to be, and I'm glad that you get that sense in your workshops and things.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's something that we talk about, in something that I've learned a lot, especially because I've tried to set up my own sort of place to work from. So when I try to do my work independently, it's about the doers, and when you realize that you actually just do and kind of let go of like those fears and just have a go, because everything's always a learning curve anyway, that feeling is just undescribable. You know, like you said, when we had the busking sessions, you're like, that was amazing. It's not about an ego boost, but just that feeling of, wow, that's beautiful, people have enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, this is a great thing. And like, then it just spurs you on just to do more, and that's where you want to be.
Like, do you think that number's your limit? Like, do you think 5 or 6, 7 is a really nice fit in that you can give everybody the time that you want to give, or do you think they're going to build up to hopefully bigger, or what do you want from that?
Yeah, good point. I think it depends on the skill. If it's like, I'm looking to do a lino cutting, which is printing workshop, but I think the time and the techniques, you might need more sort of assistance, so then I would limit the numbers, but maybe do more workshops of them. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to have a few more people in some of them coming up. I'm definitely going to up the numbers of the workshops, so
and we
we'll
want to
see how it
get
goes.
more people in anyway, just to do their own workshops and do their own teaching. We are on a really blessed place to be for doing it, and you know, very informal. Like, I remember, like, if people have gone out their way to go and learn a thing, they're probably going to go and learn more about it. When I was at school in like a cohesive institution, like, this is learning time now, you're learning this thing, we want you to do this, act like this. I was just somebody that couldn't function that way. I didn't really like being told what to do and how to do it. I want to choose to do that and find my own way of doing that. And having certain like workshops and projects set up that people are volunteering to come to, and then they've put their time in, I think they're going to be more inclined to actually pick up that skill and enjoy that skill.
Yeah, kind of giving yourself that time, or, you know, when to learn. But also, I mean, with the workshops, I think also if people are afraid, I don't know how to do that, that's what the workshop's there for. Like, I'd like to think that if somebody saw my workshop on Facebook or Instagram, they wouldn't think, well, I don't know how to do that, so I don't know, I'm a bit too shy to go. Literally give it a go, because so many people come at different skill bases as well. So some people maybe be a bit more advanced but want a bit of guidance, or want that time just to make, because at home the dog walks through, or the kids smashing things, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's really important just to give things a go. I think
I've seen that in real time in your workshops, you know, when people are going at different speeds and different skill sets, you're very nurturing to all them people in the room. You'll go and spend a bit more time with that person who's struggling, and you'll let that person who's doing really well just get on with their thing. And you've just got a good teaching attitude. You've got a well balanced attitude in the classroom, in the bus.
Yeah, I mean, I've
I've
learned
seen
that
in action.
Yeah, I've learned that through teaching. I probably, through doing my workshops, realised how much I learned about teaching. I think it's just important to make sure that everyone knows that you haven't forgotten them. So even if they don't need help, you'll just say, you know, are you all right? Yeah, give me a shout, I'm coming round. Or just making sure that, don't leave anyone out.
100%. Are you going to go with some skills as well that you're not too sure on, just so you can learn them, or do you want to master them first and then teach them?
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, because like, even with that needle punching, so the for you guys that can't remember, it's the like bathroom mat style. Because even that, it's dead simple, but then I'll be like, oh, it's not even tufts.
I get you.
But I do like to, I need to know it inside out. If there's any questions, I don't mind not knowing the answers, because I'll always find those answers. But I'd like to have mastered it.
Quite a straight out of Pursuit of Happiness that we watched the other day together. No, what a great film that is.
It is amazing. Everyone should watch it.
I'm just thinking of other things people should watch. We need to give some recommendations out. Ozark.
Yeah,
That's a
Ozark.
shout. That was
Definitely.
that was intense last night. I won't give any. Don't worry, you don't have to switch off straight away now. I won't give any
please don't
spoilers
go.
out. But that's a great show.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Talking of Ozark, let's talk about parenting.
Oh, God, yeah.
And the not tos. We can learn a lot from Ozark.
Yeah, don't get in any trouble.
It became quite real yesterday, didn't it? It became like it was actually happening. We had the cot arrive. We had a massive IKEA bag of clothing.
Yeah,
Do you have a
lovely
favourite
clothing.
item in there?
Oh, it was just all so nice, but yeah, all the dinosaur clothes. They
Yeah.
were cute.
I like the Simba one personally, and the Disney lot.
Yeah, little bear costume.
And then there was also that little shaker. What's that?
The
What's
baby bouncer.
The baby bouncer.
The shaker.
Called the shaker to me. That can be our new babysitter.
Yeah.
When we just want a FIFA moment or something.
Podcast.
Yeah. Right. Put the shaker on. Set it for an hour. Put some music. Don't worry. Don't think I'm a mean person. That is clearly a joke.
Sounds like a microwave. Put it on for like an hour.
So, yeah, it came real yesterday. How are you feeling towards parenting? And, like, there's an age gap between us, isn't there? I know you don't mind me saying.
One.
Yes, I'm 27, you're 37.
Whoa.
Well, it is annoying because, like, every time we go to a shop and I'm like, yeah, I want these beers, please, mate. They're like, oh, has she got any ID? I'm like, seriously, like, there's a 10-year gap. Will you please leave it out?
I sometimes genuinely worry, that if I show someone my ID, they're like 37, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you're going to ID me, they're never going to believe I'm nearly 40.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, like,
No,
I'm
who
sorry,
looks
Governor.
silly?
I really am.
Yeah, I think it's. I've smiled a lot, so I've got them little wrinkles.
They're the
just
best
forming
kind
a
of
bit, yeah.
wrinkles.
The only type. I have honestly thought it might, because I've got like this underbag here that I'm really.
The
The
underbag.
underbag. I was
Whoa.
always thinking of getting a little. I don't know. Is that just a
Nah.
bit too insecure?
I think your
that's
eyes
a
are
bit
pretty
Too
special.
insecure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't go all gooey over here on this
Yeah.
podcast. Everyone's out.
We'll
now.
have to bleep it all out. Sorry, guys.
And so yeah, with that age gap, I know you've been told some unsavoury things, haven't you? You've been told you're not gonna have a baby now, and things like
Yeah.
that. Did you come to that conclusion as well? And if you did like get to that place, did you sort of succumb to that? Were you eased yourself with that? Was it a problem to you or?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm pretty thick-skinned, really. Like when that was said to me, someone said, "Oh, you're a bit old now. Like you probably won't have a kid." And that was probably about 7 years ago.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I'm like, nice one. Like, anyway, I won't probably say what I thought. But,
Yeah.
but
I don't need your opinion over here.
yeah, like I do what I want.
Yeah.
But it does kind of sink in. You think, well, is that true? Like, and I guess after a while you start thinking, will I actually meet someone that I connect with on that level? I spent so long soul searching, or even like trying to work out what I wanted in life, kind of going through that kind of loop of party settle, or not even settle, or trying to think that you've found something that you want to head towards. Obviously, changed careers, did all these things, and I was like, when is it going to happen? And then you meet someone and you think, hey up, this all suddenly
Here we
is
go.
working. I guess that's the thing, you've got to live your life. I think I wrote down once, like, don't go searching for something, but live your life and find it on the way. So,
There's like doing these podcasts I love because there's always like a big moment or a big bomb of like just knowledge there, and that's a really beautiful quote. Should we go and write that on the wall when we get in?
I wrote it down in one of my dark moments, like, or maybe my realization moments, probably.
That's beauty. And there's like I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Obviously, probably a Joe Rogan. He was talking to Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
And wow, I like it. So if you want to go and check out a podcast, go and check out a podcast, and that is scary, fascinating, terrifying. There's so many like emotions I was feeling throughout it. But the moment like he got onto parenthood, because he's just become a dad, and I was like, oh, thank God, a little bit of normality. I needed that. And he spoke like really highly on it, but he particularly enjoyed and was happy about the fact that he had just come into it at a later stage in his life, because he got a lot more wisdom to pass on. He had a lot more life experience, and he was just more settled and comfortable in himself. Are you somebody that feels that? Have you got to that stage where you're like, yeah, I'm happy that it's become this point now?
Yeah, definitely. I never felt completely ready before. I was always not wanting to resent having not done certain A, B, C in my life before having a baby. And yeah, I feel like now, as long as you just need to be happy. You need to be you, and your life just runs in the way it goes. And I'm definitely. I feel really ready, actually.
I'm there. I'm
Yeah,
there.
I am there.
It's well, again, like, I don't know who in the world is for the first time just become a parent and just been like, yeah, 100% ready, go, 100% go. Like, it's just not fathomable, because you are looking after a new life. You're looking after something really precious, and there's not being scary here, but like, things could go wrong. It's just so many factors, and there's so much beauty behind it too, but it is scary. Like, it's always going to be. To deny that would be false, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've even had conversations on a daily, like, I'll suddenly be like, oh dear, I've just thought of this, like, whoa, brain, like, worms. And yeah, you suddenly just, start thinking about certain parts of parenthood or having a baby that you didn't think before. So although saying I'm ready, you're very right.
There is, like, any conversation you ever get into at a campfire when you had a late night, you'll be speaking for hours, and then when you need to get to that point of bedtime now, you always just end it on like, but there's a balance to it, isn't there? It always boils down to it's balance, and that's really true, to be honest, as cliche as it sounds. But I've got all them mixed emotions, and a massive side of me is like, oh, imagine this, and when we're going to take it to the park for the first time, and all these great things. But there's just such mystery behind it. I've always got to keep that side about me.
Oh, definitely. You do suddenly then think, oh, well, I hope that is still a thing, and I hope I can still have time for us. And
what are the things you're most getting ready for in a good way, in a happy way? Like, what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, I guess, like, little things like doing the nursery. Well, not doing the nursery, but like when we got the bits yesterday, that was quite a different feeling, because I hadn't had that feeling for a while. I think we both said sort of similar.
Just got to become us again for a bit, and then we're like, oh yeah, you're growing a little human.
Because you do forget. I won't lie, I've been seriously lucky.
Not that you've been out partying and
I've been seriously lucky though, to be honest. Like, I've hardly had any symptoms. I had one day of sickness. Like, don't want to tempt fate, but
lucky bugger.
Yeah, I know. So like, it's sometimes tricky, because you do sort of forget, apart from not fitting any trousers anymore. Like, it's a bit of an eye opener, and suddenly like, oh yeah, this is happening. I don't know. I think just spending time. I don't know. Just that feeling of whoa, that's our kid. Yeah, I think that's the bit.
Looking forward to that bit.
Yeah, I want to see your face when we first have a baby. Like,
honestly, I'm not exaggerating here. I think I've held a baby once in my existence, and I mean, I'm really cool with it. I get really like, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna do something wrong. Oh no, throw it. Arms will just do like a spasm or something.
Hot potato.
It's gone. I really love them, and when people are around, and even like kids that are like 3, 4. When I was at parties, not like raves,
not them.
No, at crazy raves, and there was 3 and 4 year olds around. No, and I'd go like with mum and dad, and I'd be about 14, 15 to adult parties, which were a drag. But you go, and all the kids would always like want to play throw the ball with me, or
they'd home in on you.
Yeah, they'd always come around. So I enjoyed it. I had like fun, like just inventing games, as you do as a kid. You just make something up, and that was really cool. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing that as an adult, and being playful and stuff like that. Sitting down with our Tommy over there. I've got a lot of lovely family thoughts in my mind that I'd never expected myself to go in towards. So that it's going to be a real journey.
definitely a new chapter. It's like
Was it something as well you were worried about with everything we've discussed? There's so much in your life. You're a teacher, you do your crafts and your arts. Were you feel like worried about losing yourself at all?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with the teaching, I didn't even think about it. I think that's something I probably not even vocalised, like, because I'm, my second year, just over my first year in this job, I thought, I just really want to become good at what I do. It's something that's really important to me, like, in anything that I do, to be honest. Like, I don't like being a beginner. I always want to be all right at something. So I did think, oh, man, like, how's this going to be? With that, how will I take the time out? But people just say the jobs and life, it's always there. You can just come back to it. And I think you get to the point where you're like, yeah, let's just do it. With the art, I think I've been a bit naive with it because, like, a lot of people I talk to, because it suddenly seems like, when you buy a red car, everyone's got a red car, so everyone's got babies. But, like, they're saying, yeah, try and get as much done now because you ain't going to have no time after. I'm like, oh, no, it'll be fine. We've got baby shaker. Like, it'll be fine. But I'm definitely getting my craft on now.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be really prepared, trying to use isolation as a bit... Well, this sounds bad, but as a blessing in disguise as well, silver lining. So
you've got to do that. Like, so many people and statuses on Facebook now or Instagram, which I'm trying to sort of just see as a, in all honesty, like a promotional tool or something. I'll just put something on, get out of there, because it's a bit of a war zone, isn't it, at the minute?
Can be,
I mean, maybe that's just the people I've added, but no, a lot of great and a lot of sharing the music and doing good things as well. But I do go past too many statuses now. It's like, I'm fed up with this, I'm bored, I'm nothing to do now. And it's like, there's so much to do now. Like, there's YouTube tutorials, there's crafts to pick up, there's so much going on, free resources. And I think people like to just make excuses and just not really be bothered and a bit lazy, to be honest. I like that you're somebody that always finds that silver lining and somebody that searches for but look at the bright side of it and things. In talking about losing yourself, I've also seen a lot of parents that I know and been friends with and are friends with that did lose themselves during it for a bit. Like, really passionate people, really loved their sports, really loved X, Y, and Z, and then they just cut it all out, just threw that out the window and said, no, looking after a little person now, this is it. And that's great, but I noticed quite obvious changes in them. And one of my friends, who I obviously won't name, but he was really open about it as well. He just said, I grew a little bit to resent my kids and resent my partner because I stopped doing the things I enjoyed. I just gave it all up. I thought that was a lot of honesty coming from one person there, but
definitely.
People seem to just think it's all or nothing. I've got to just throw it out the window, and it's not healthy for the family. Then the baby's best interest would be having a healthy mum and dad, having them have healthy mindsets, and to have a healthy mindset, you've got to keep that side of yourself. So I know it's going to be tricky, but it's very doable. I know a lot of people that do it, like really fanatic gym goers and things like that, and they'll have the baby alongside with them. Maybe not in the gym doing bench presses and that, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, my uncle, obviously he lives in Berlin, which you know.
Yeah, they're very funky, cool people.
Well, I saw a picture on WhatsApp the other day, and like little Lucy, who's, I don't know, she's 3 I think now. She's got her leggings on. They've both gone for a jog in the park.
Wow.
And he does marathons, but she wanted to
do you
go.
know what?
So
if you want to learn from a family doing it right, they're my archetypals. They're the ones I look towards and go, yep, that's what you should be doing, because they go on holidays and adventures, get involved in anything and everything. Like, they're the sort of people that be walking in the Berlin streets and something crazy just goes off and they leg it straight to that thing, and we're getting involved, we're on it. So they're definitely people to look up towards and go, this is the how-tos.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the thing, is people just feel so guilty. I mean, well, parents feel so guilty for doing their own thing sometimes. And I mean, like I said, I don't want to guess how it's going to be. I know it'll be tricky, but I think you're right. You do need to be your own person. I wonder if that's where, living your life through a child ends up coming when you decide to stop doing the things that you want to pursue. And it's important that everyone progresses to the person they need to be so they are fulfilled. So if you're pushing that onto a young person, which we walk so much and we talk, that's our talk time, and like when you think, oh no, I wanted to do that but it wasn't quite how I wanted because I felt like I was being steered in a certain way, which could have been totally innocent, but I think that's why it's so important.
And we were saying the other day as well, like, there's a difference from just getting a kid a guitar and actually sitting down, playing the guitar, learning it and exploring that with the kid. And I think that's really important. So, like, we've got passions and I wouldn't just, like, be a pushy parent and say, you've got to be passionate, do this thing, do that. But if the child shows interest in that, I'd be sitting there like you would, like, learning that with them. And it's just everybody, it's a win-win in the whole situation because everybody's benefiting from exploring and being curious.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And there's so many things that you can do, and children are so good for learning because they suck everything in. So you could be learning from that kid as well.
Just little sponges, aren't they?
No, there's that thing in Derby that I thought was incredible, and again going back to teaching, but called a mini makers market. And there was literally
I love anything with a ring to it.
yeah, but it was just bonkers because I went.
Me crazy.
It was just bonkers because I'd never heard of it, and I went on a teacher basis. But there was kids of like 5 making circuits and doing like making robots and programming. I was like, hey, hang on a minute here. Elon Musk is well into that.
Well, that's the thing. Like Joe Rogan talks when he was talking to Elon Musk, and we're going to be so because I think Elon believes like people won't even have to talk in 5 or 6 years' time. They'll be able to like program it and just have a code of conduct. Because we, through evolutionary speaking, like we've made these sounds with our mouths, and we've all sort of just agreed upon it as that's how we communicate, how we talk. But the advances now we're coming into, it's beyond known. It's well, it's obvious, it's known by some, but it's beyond what you can comprehend. And imagine my great grandma seeing where we're at now and the internet and things like that. She's going, you literally went to another planet, didn't you? What happened? But yeah, just the ways we communicate. So our child essentially is coming into that world of like they're gonna maybe stumble upon a brand new way of communication and things. I mean, this is going to some new realm, but but that's an interesting concept. How would you learn like chip implants, like you said earlier? But I mean, there's even people voluntarily doing that just for their bank details and passport. Yeah, in Sweden, I've seen a company's using it to log in, log out, do their
crazy.
Yeah, pay for their food. So yeah, we're getting somewhere, aren't we?
Oh, definitely, it's going that way, like it or not. But I mean, I don't know. It also kind of opens up interesting questions of, I don't know. I've got a love for things like if we talk it in that connection, and that's hearing someone's voice. It's something really beautiful. Like if you were just downloading your podcast from your thoughts, I don't know. But I guess it's that unknown. Like I don't know. It's like what language do you dream in? Like how would that download in? So.
I think I saw this podcast ages ago as well, and surprisingly, it wasn't a Joe Rogan one, but he was speaking to the first ever cyborg.
Oh, okay.
And this guy could be hacked into, and he said, "This isn't a sci-fi film. This is real life." But and they couldn't like control him, and he was walking around like what's the Wallace and Gromit one? The
close shave. Oh, wrong trousers.
Wrong trousers. Yeah, he wasn't going around like that. But they could hack his dreams and things, so they could program what colour he can see.
That's
and
bonkers.
They were hacking, like sending photos. He's the craziest guy. I can't remember his name, but just type in like first human cyborg, and he was he's speaking really funny of it though, because this guy's like, doesn't that irritate you? Isn't that really weird? Like, he's like, I like it.
Yeah, like give me more.
Really strange guy. But I know, just talking of the future, I know you've got your midwife appointment coming up very soon.
I do.
Do you want to wrap this up and we make sure that this is something we carry on doing?
Oh yeah, let's keep updated.
I really want to. Like, I think it's interesting, like figuring it all out with you and exploring our next steps in this format, because it makes us actually, when we have our little meetings together and we go for our walks, very informal. I'm not saying this is really formal, but it's a different way of discovering it. So I'm sure when we go for a walk later, we'll be like, yeah, that bit we stumbled on, or that bit we thought about, that would be really interesting to venture into.
Imagine looking back on the parenting conversation. Oh, yeah, that wasn't quite yet. Sorry, guys.
That would be
hands
funny.
down.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be easy. Just going, I'll go gym, you put shaker on.
Yeah, the shake's going mad. Baby's screaming. Oh, I don't know who I am anymore.
Well, because it's probably me nan and me. Probably me nan's the only one that watches this to the end. So, we'll do this for her. But thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the Old Farm Bus. And Chrissie, you're a great guest. Let's keep doing this.
Yes,
Let's keep chatting.
Definitely.
Peace and love, everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody. Beautiful.